Hey friends, how you doing? Welcome back to my channel. It is Adriana or TheTranspondster here with you today, and I am back in The Sims 4 doing a speed build for you. Today we are building over in Granite Falls, and because you can't actually reside in Granite Falls, it's a vacation world. I am building a vacation rental for your Sims to travel to for however long they'd like. And I am going for a little bit more of a realistic log cabin sort of feel. So it does end up being on the big side in terms of house space, but when it comes to sleeping arrangements, it's pretty cozy and crammed in. There are only two bedrooms, but I believe you can sleep six or seven Sims here. I have the main or master bedroom with an ensuite, and then I kind of have like a kid's bunk room. So there's bunk beds, there's a crib, and then there's a toddler bed. So your Sims can bring their family members of all ages here. Worst case, there is a couch that your sim can sleep on too. So if you are down a bed, then there is that option. Or you sleep in intervals. But for the most part, I feel like you can basically fit your whole family if you come to this lot. And then when it comes to living space, I do end up leaving that fairly open. The kitchen's pretty massive and has like an eat-in area. And then the living space has like your typical living room setup, but then instead of doing a dining space, I made it like a family entertaining area. So we ended up getting a foosball table in there and some darts and stuff. So it ends up being a really fun place for your Sims to vacation to, especially if they don't have that sort of stuff in their house at home, which I don't anticipate many Sims would, because some of those items can be a little bit clunky or difficult to place. But I do like how it ended up turning out, and I think I got a lot of skill building stuff here for your Sims too, particularly on the back patio. When I get to decorating that, I'll get some logic items. I get the woodworking table, and then I get an easel in there as well. So basically, Sims of all types will find something to enjoy here. The one thing that I don't put in actually is I don't put in any kind of video gaming system. There's no computer and there's no console at the TV, but there is a TV, so your Sims can watch movies and TV shows and whatnot. And then I don't actually think I even put a stereo in here. That might be something that I'll go in and add quickly before I upload it to the gallery, so that if you do download it, your Sims will at least have some music to listen to. But I think I'm going to leave the video gaming stuff out, because I find that that's one skill that your Sims just gravitate towards, and I'm always trying to intercept them from playing video games on the computer. Like, even the Sims that I have disliking video games will do it. So it's kind of odd that that autonomy is set up like that. It ends up being a fairly dark interior when it comes to the wallpaper and flooring, but I think that when I get the furniture in, it really lightens it up a little bit. I also went out of my comfort zone. I've been feeling red a lot lately in my builds, which is not a typical color for me to use. So when I put this red fridge down, I was really inspired to kind of keep the red theme going throughout. I didn't make it the main focus in the build, but I did have fun tying it into every room. Although I will admit that the living room furniture does look a little bit more coral to me, like a pink, maybe an orangey pink. So, but I think that's okay, because to me it's just a different shade of red. Red is the main color there. I really like this kitchen too. I wish I had a kitchen this big. I fiddled so much with that one cabinet piece, and then I ended up just giving up. Like, I couldn't get it. So I think I just put some shelving in there and called it a day. I might not even go back to it. That's a little embarrassing, but I think it looks okay at the end of the day. And then I do have like all these other random shelving units that I get in here. I know that the times that I've stayed at Airbnbs, there's always like a dresser kind of cabinet in the living space that has the rules and the stuff for when you show up. So I was kind of trying to make this front entrance look like that sort of thing. And I ended up using the little table menu from Dine Out, but I think it looks really cute. And if you're using your imagination, you can just tell yourself that that's like your little welcome station when you walk into your rental. So, and then I thought that the little book there could be like, you could leave your family memories in there. Oh, look, I do get a stereo in on that shelf. I think that one is from Base Game or Get Together, one of the really early packs at least. And I do get some appliances in here, so as annoying as coffee can be, your Sims will have coffee. And then I do put a microwave in here as well, so if your Sims aren't big into cooking, then they can just heat up some quick meals. I really wanted to make it a versatile place so that any sim can come visit, and it's not geared toward any particular personality or hobbies. It's kind of an open-ended lot for you to come to. And I know that the lot that was originally here was a pretty pricey rental. I think it was like 800 and something simoleons per night. So I wasn't overly concerned about this being expensive because in my head, it was already one of the more expensive rentals in this vacation destination. So I don't think it's that big of a deal if it costs too much more. I know I wasn't really paying attention to my furnishing and whatnot, so it might be up there in terms of price. So if that's something unaffordable for your Sims, I'm really sorry. You'll just have to keep saving for that dream vacation. And hopefully a cabin in the woods is your dream vacation. One thing that does disappoint me about Granite Falls, though, is how close the lots are to each other. Like, if the camera angle is right, you'll see that you can see the cottage next door. And I did end up putting some trees around this lot at the end when I did some landscaping. But in the grand scheme, there aren't that many trees, and most of the leafy parts are higher up on the trunk. So it's not really doing much for privacy. But we do have this big hill that I added into this lot for some dimension. I don't always do a lot of terrain manipulation, but I was kind of feeling it for this one, and I really like how it turned out. It's subtle, but something different than your typical perfectly flat lot, and I like that. Here's the living room that I was talking about. It does end up being a little bit more pink than red, but I think it ends up being okay. We do get a different rug in there. I didn't like how that paranormal one looked. I wish that the swatches weren't so solid colors. Like, I wish that there was more dimension to them because I would use that paranormal rug so much more if the swatches were just a little bit better. And then I wanted to get that new one tile bar piece that we got with this daily claim rewards going on, but it didn't really fit anywhere, so I used that stupid globe again. I am still wishing for a functional bar cart that is not CC. I know I have options in that sense, but when it comes to YouTube, I'm trying really hard to not make my builds CC oriented because I want everyone to be able to download them. I don't want to worry about missing content linked in the description. I just want it to be nice and easy for uploading's sake. And I find that on a personal level, when it comes to watching other people's content on YouTube, I very much prefer no CC builds because it allows me to see how other people utilize the base game or the expansion packs as is without needing additional content to make their game better. Like, I like seeing those videos where how far can I bend this base game object? And then I like finding my own ways to bend base game objects too. Like right now, I'm really into building built-in seats, like the one that I did upstairs in the hallway off the staircase. I just use the ottomans and go from there. Sometimes I add some clutter to them, sometimes I don't, but I have so much fun doing stuff like this. And here's where I tried to keep that red theme going with the bedroom, but I didn't really like any of the beds with the red swatch, so I ended up just doing this bed from cats and dogs with a little bit more of a pattern to it, but it still has some red touches. And then the yellows and oranges I felt really complemented each other, and I like the colors with the wood that I have going on with the wallpaper and flooring. It just feels like it blends all together. I'm getting a really cozy cabin feel, which is what I wanted here. And to be honest, the only awkward thing I think there is in this bedroom is the mirror at the end of the bed, if your mind is wandering places, I guess. But I swear it's innocent. It's just a mirror. I didn't have a better wall to put it on, so it had to go there. And then it felt right centered with the bed, obviously. So it is what it is. Let your mind take you where it wants, but I swear that was not the intention with that mirror, although it did pop into my head, and that's why I am lingering on that now. So anywho, moving on, we're in that kid's bedroom that I was talking about, where I'm gonna get bunk beds in, but I don't do it until a little later in the build. So if you see me somewhat finish this room and move on without bunk beds, don't be like, what are you talking about? Because they are coming. And then I wanted to piece the red in a little bit more, so I did pick a red rug for this room, and I do like how it turned out. I do get a changing table in here. The bin for it isn't right beside it. It ends up being kind of tucked at the end of the bed there, but I think it ends up being okay. It's close enough that you can easily just pick up the diapers and drag it as your sim changes them. The one thing I am disappointed that I didn't get in this build is the playmat for infants, but I feel like if you're coming here with an infant, that's something that you could bring along, and then, like, I don't know, infants don't do too much, so it's not the end of the world. I do have in the living room, I don't know if I've already placed it, but I do put one of the baby's first mats there, so at least there's somewhere to put your infant down that isn't just random on the floor. And I really like this makeshift shelf that I put up there. I know that there is the little hanging shelf of infant stuff that comes with growing together, but it felt like a little too homey to have in a vacation rental, so I ended up doing my own custom shelf for baby stuff, and I think it turned out so cute. I love it. And then because the child's room is so small, I do have a few things downstairs in the living area for them to do. It also feels a little bit more realistic to have stuff for kids to do elsewhere in the home. Even though it is a vacation home, it just makes sense that the kids aren't holed up upstairs all the time. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I was very much involved in what the family was doing, even if it meant I was just playing with my toys in the living room to feel included. It wasn't until I was more so a teenager that I stopped wanting to associate so much with the people I lived with. But yeah, I think that's just a general part of growing up. Like, you slowly start to distance yourself from your parents or your guardians so that you can figure out who you are as a person and not, be so much influenced by your family members. Although it could be different for everyone, different cultures have different ways of doing things. It's just how I find that in North America, we typically are. We like to distance ourselves from our parents and do our own thing. At least me. I was a little bit of a rebel, but a goody two-shoes at the same time. Like, I followed all the rules and I had a lot of them, but I was always testing how far I could bend the rules, which maybe that's where I get my love of bending the base game, because it's similar in thought process, I guess. At this point, I'm just going through and doing finishing touches. I did also set this lot up to be pet friendly because, like I said, when it's a vacation rental or a community lot and I'm building it for my save file, I really want it to be super accessible and inclusive. I don't want someone to have intentions of bringing their whole family here and then the dog is all left out and you have to scramble to buy stuff to feed your dog while you're on vacation. It should just come nice and easy breezy. So yeah, I hope that I got everything that your Sims will need here and that this ends up being a very usable lot for you in your game if you do wish to download it. At this point, I'm just putting in some outdoor activities and then I'm going to do the terrain paint and lighting. So I have some bikes for the family to ride and some swings to sit on. I am obsessed with the Little Campers swing set. It is by far my favorite one in the game. It's so aesthetic. And then I thought that getting these Toddler stuff lights on the back here would be so cute. I love it. It just made it feel less bland and boring when you're looking at that back porch. Everything is so brown and blah that I needed a little something to dress it up. And those felt like the perfect, not too fancy touch. And then I got in a bunch of s'more related stuff that came with the Little Campers kit too. There's like a s'more making station and then the little gnome at the front there is holding a giant marshmallow. I think it's so cute. I absolutely love that kit. So if there is one that I recommend, it's so hard. I am a little controversial. I like the kits a lot. I feel like maybe my experience with being around for the Sims 3 store and how cash grabby that was makes me not think the kits are as cash grabby and I can justify the price of them for the amount of stuff I get a little more. But yeah, it's very hard for me to pick a favorite kit, but if you are going to get one, I would say the Little Campers kit by far, especially if you don't have movie hangout stuff. It comes with an outdoor projector. That's a really neat feature in your game. And yeah, I really love it. I am really happy with how this build turned out. The screenshots are coming up, so I'm gonna do my part and say goodbye. Thank you for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, guys.